Mazel tov, mazel tov. You may be seated. Shabbat shalom once again, and moadim l'simcha. Very good. If chagim uzmanim l'sason is too much for you to say, you can say chaguzol. That's an acronym I invented and nobody uses. Chagim uzmanim l'sason chaguzol. Try it. It's fun. Chag HaPesach, the holiday of Pesach, is very concerned with the transmission of our heritage to future generations. You could argue that the most essential part of the Seder is communicating to the children at the Seder why we do what we do. Point in case. V'higada televincha. The Haggadah takes its name from a mitzvah, which is to tell your children, all of them, engage them in the stories as if they personally left Egypt. It's how we ensure that our story continues by teaching our children that this is your story too. We need them to know. We need them to know our history. We need them to know our personal family history. We need them to know our national history. We need them to know. Because if they don't know, then who will carry it on after we're gone? But in addition to telling them our story, we also need to show them through our deeds. So we talk, but we also eat matzah and maror. We drink 4 cups of wine. We clean our homes. We invite guests. We're not only talking the talk, but we are walking the walk. We are doing the things that show them that Pesach is important, that this story is important, that we don't just pay lip service to generations of Jews who have done this stuff. We actually do it. And the tradition gets transmitted as much through our actions as it does through the actual telling of the story. Our children watch what we do. They watch when we move the furniture around our living room to set up for the guests. They usually get in the way. But that is an important part of not only telling children about Passover, but showing them. How we spend our resources, our time, our money, that's also a way of showing our children what is important to us. There's a fun play on words in the Talmud that says you can tell a person's true values. Bekiso, bekoso, uvekaaso. You hear how in Hebrew there's a play on words. Kaaso is what makes you angry, what gets you upset. If something gets you upset, there must be something in there that really matters to you. Bekoso is if you've had a little too much to drink, and nichnas yain yotzes sod. Whenever you drink wine, a little bit of the secrets come out, and you learn what truly is on a person's heart. And the first one is bekiso. What do they spend their hard-earned resources? Kis is a pocket, so with their pocket, they show you what's really most important to them. Judaism and its values are caught and taught. They're taught through the telling, but they're also caught through the modeling and the experience that we have. At CAI, we dedicated this Shabbat to be Legacy Shabbat, to call attention to our efforts to support a vital financial institution of this synagogue, which is the CAI Legacy Circle. There are these sheets that explain some of the details of what it is, but basically, the Legacy Circle is when you, as an individual, decide to make a legacy gift that will be collected after you are gone, but you make that commitment now, you build it into your estate planning. It's a gift that you are acknowledged for now. You get the honor that you have contributed, you're participating in this program, but you don't actually have to part ways with it until you're gone. Setting aside some of your hard-earned resources, your treasure. And what a great way to show future generations what really mattered to you. Unlike an annual or capital campaign gift, which so many have generous of you have generously made, and we thank you deeply for that. This is a gift that will benefit future generations. This is something that's about giving to people that you may not enjoy in this world, but you may take some satisfaction in knowing that others will enjoy. It's also an equal opportunity way of giving, unlike donor recognition lists that many of us are used to, where we highlight different giving groups or levels because we want to inspire people to give more generously. But this one is equal. If you give any amount to our legacy circle, you will be acknowledged on the beautiful plaque that's outside, right outside the sanctuary. If you can look, I can see it from here. It's right above that display where Phil so beautifully curates different exhibits for us to appreciate. Right above that is a wonderful artistic celebration wall of all the people who have already made some kind of commitment, and any commitment will get you that kind of recognition. I also hope that you support the synagogue in your lifetime, and many of you do, but there's lots of different ways to support the synagogue. I think you know that. By showing up for minyan, you support the synagogue. By leading the davening or participating in the davening from your seat, you support the synagogue. By coming to an adult education program, you support the synagogue. By learning, by committing yourselves to the values of Judaism, you support the synagogue. When you volunteer, you support the synagogue. When you enroll your children in our ECC or in our religious school, you are supporting the congregation. When you become a member, when you participate in a community, when you celebrate a milestone and share your simcha with all of us, like a bar mitzvah or a second bar mitzvah or an afraf, this gives us an opportunity to share in the joy of your individual family, and it supports our community. It makes this place a special place to be. We also hope that the synagogue is a community that's here for you when you need it. We hope that you've benefited, as I have, from this connection to community in your lifetime. But if you've benefited in your lifetime, if you found this a meaningful place to be, if you feel it has enriched your life, as I have, to be connected to the people who are around this sanctuary, to be part of this thing we called CAI, well, then there also comes an obligation to try and pay it forward, to contribute in a way that will enable this institution to be here for other people that even goes beyond what we may see in our lifetimes. We're not reading the weekly Torah portion today. It takes a break for the Pesach reading. But I want to point something out in the weekly Torah portion that I feel relates to this concept of legacy giving, and what we're trying to highlight today. As you probably know, the names of the parshas come from a significant word in the opening of the parsha. It's not usually a good representation of the overall theme of the parsha. It's not a witty title that really is a play on words or anything like that. The title of each parsha just comes from the first significant word that appears in that Torah reading. So it's sort of like when you open up a new Google Doc or a new Word document and you don't give it a name, and then you start writing and they automatically name the document the first words of, you ever have that experience? And then you have like lots of documents that are named Dear CAI Family, if you're me, because it's like how I write every document. And yet, there's an interesting coincidence amongst the string of names of parshiot that occur in quick succession in the coming weeks. Right now, if we were reading the weekly Torah portion, we'd be reading Parshat Acharei Mot. Next week, we read Parshat Kedoshim. And then the week after that, we read Parashat Emor. Those mean, after the death, Kedoshim means holy, and Emor means say. They have no connection to each other. In their individual context, they mean something totally different. But when you string them together, Acharei Mot, Kedoshim, Emor, it actually becomes a little bit like an instruction. After death, say they are holy. Declare them holy. Perhaps this is alluding to a reality of life, that we come to realize the true value of a person's life, how holy they were only after they're gone. Acharei Mot, Kedoshim, Emor. Once a person dies, we honor them and we treat them as if they're holy. But perhaps it's also a warning. Don't wait until someone dies to proclaim their holiness. They're here now. Speak of them lovingly. Tell them what they mean to you. Achrei mot kadoshim amor. Tell them they're kadoshim now. And live a life in which you will be acknowledged as holy after you're gone. So we want to acknowledge your generosity now. We don't want to wait until after. We want you while you are here, while you are living and well. We want you to get that recognition. You give so much to this place. You make it what it is. And that is a very precious legacy that I hope you continue to enjoy for many years to come. And when you contribute to the Legacy Circle, what you're doing is also contributing to grow our endowment, which is a gift that keeps on giving and will benefit future generations, so that future generations will look at that wall and say, look at all these people who came before me and helped sustain this institution. They're learning from the example you set. And they will be the beneficiaries, people we don't know, we cannot imagine what their lives will bring them, but who we feel connected to, who we feel some obligation to. So I hope you'll consider participating in this. I want to take a moment just to acknowledge the Legacy team who have been working very hard to build this part of our development efforts. Karen Secular is here. Karen, can you raise your hand? She's our development consultant, and she's been working with the CAI Legacy team. If you're part of this team, I'd like you, and you're here, I'd like you to stand at your place at this time so we can thank you. Shani Drogan, Cindy Goldstein, Jonathan Mell, Steve Fichtenbaum, Bert Henry, David Saginaw, Arthur Franklin, Esther Cardis, Rana Sheckman, Dan Golden, Mike Lowenthal, and Brian Sneerson. Not everyone was able to be here today, but these are individuals in our community who are working to enhance our efforts in this area. If you have questions, you should approach any one of them and ask them how you can get involved. At this point, I'd like to call up Larry Samuels, who's going to share a little bit about his connection to legacy giving and tell us a little bit about his involvement in this program. Come on up, Larry.
Shabbat Shalom. Really, it's an honor for me to speak with you today, really on a topic that touches on the very essence of our communal legacy. That is the importance of including Agudath Israel in our wills and our trusts. My name's Larry Samuels, and my wife Margie and I are CAI Legacy Circle members, which is a group of fellow congregants and friends who have committed to making a legacy gift to CAI. Now, I've been a member of Agudath since Margie and our children, Brian and Rebecca, moved to the Caldwells in 1987. But our family's connection to CAI actually goes back much further to 1957, when Margie's parents, Mort and Nikki Rachelson, joined the shul, where they established friendships and connections with the Agudath community. Margie and her sister Barbara received their Jewish education at CAI. They were bat mitzvahed here. And in 1975, Margie and I had our Ufruf here at CAI. And that's where my CAI connection begins. And so when we moved to the Caldwells, choosing a synagogue was easy. Now, while CAI has evolved and it's grown over the years since Margie was a child, it retains its essence and its core values. So in my personal life, I've had the good fortune to see how CAI has created a vibrant community over several decades. Congregants coming together to celebrate the holidays as well as support one another through life's joys and challenges. For our family, CAI has provided a place of belonging and connection. And as a community, CAI has been fortunate over the years to have clergy and synagogue leaders who understand us, who foster a sense of trust and can inspire us with their words and their deeds. Agudath has been a place of learning and growth for our children and our adults, and has been a place to help deepen our knowledge of Jewish history, Jewish tradition, and Jewish values. And CAI has been a place to find spiritual meaning and to find strength in our shared faith. Overall, CAI has been a meaningful and fulfilling part of my life. In fact, last Shabbat, here at CAI, Margie and I had a Shehekiani moment as we were blessed with the opportunity to be at the bat mitzvah of our oldest grandchild, Ayla Nelson. It was an extraordinary experience, but it was made more precious by the fact that we got to celebrate it with our CAI family. So it's important for us to make sure to safeguard CAI, not just for today, but for the next generations. Just as we have benefited from those who came before us, it is incumbent upon us to help ensure CAI is a vibrant place for the generations to come. So including CAI in your wills or estates plans, it's an important act, and it's a testament to your commitment to preserve CAI. So by remembering CAI in your wills or trusts, you affirm Agudas' role in shaping your lives and those of the next generation. So joining the CAI Legacy Circle, it's easy, and anyone at any stage of life can participate. And when you join the CAI Legacy Circle, you're investing in CAI, and moreover, you are setting an example for your family members and your friends and showing them what is important to you and to us. Let me take a moment to share some thoughts from my daughter, Rebecca Nelson, and her husband, Eric, on why they are also Legacy Circle members. So Rebecca found that Agudath was an integral part of her childhood and her life story, where she was exposed to important Jewish values and where she made close friends, both during childhood and during adulthood. She and Eric wanted the same for their children, and she feels that becoming a legacy contributor connects her and her family on a tree, not only of the 4 generations of our family, but connected to the founding families of Agudath from 100 years ago, and to the new members that will join over the next 100 years. Eric, my son-in-law, is motivated by what his grandfather, Abraham Gibble, who Ayla is named after, who would frequently tell him. He would always emphasize to Eric that the importance of investing in the local synagogue. He impressed on Eric that the synagogue is not only for significant life cycle events, but it's a physical space to gather a community of like-minded individuals who can inspire one another to leave the world in a little better place than you found it. So for me, supporting CAI financially through Legacy Circle is not merely a responsibility. It's a heartfelt expression of my gratitude for all that this place has provided me and my family. It's about investing in the well-being of our community. It's about ensuring the future generations have access to the same nurturing environment, the same compassionate leadership, and the same educational opportunities that have enriched my life and have enriched my family's life. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Larry, you've inspired me. Thank you, Margie and Larry, and Talia, we need to talk, okay? So after Shabbos, we're going to discuss our legacy commitment, and I hope you will as well. And thank you to everyone for being here, making this community so special, and thank you for considering this opportunity. You can pick up one of these sheets which has more information, and you can also talk to some of the people. You'll notice they're wearing these circle-shaped stickers. That recognizes them as participating in the CAI Legacy Circle. Ask them, why did you decide to do this? How are you doing this? They're a great resource to you to understand a little bit more. And Karen reminded me that this is actually the 10th anniversary of when this initiative was launched. So you can think about 10 years since we started this project, and think about where it might be 10 years from now if everyone in this room considered making a contribution and how it could benefit this community. by orders of magnitude. Shabbat Shalom. Let's continue with Musaf, yeah? Because it is Chol HaMoed, we do the Musaf for Chag, which can be found on page